The Moonlight Kite, once upon a time, in a small town where the roofs were red and the lanterns always glowed softly at dusk. There lived a child named Maya. Maya loved two things more than anything: the wide, open sky and the little park behind her house, where an old willow tree spread its branches like a giant green umbrella. On the very edge of that park, next to the winding path, was a bench where Maya's grandfather used to sit and tell her stories about stars and secret breezes. One breezy evening, when the first stars were beginning to wink awake, Maya found something caught in the willow's long, silver leaves. It looked like a kite, but not like any kite she had seen before. It was stitched from midnight blue cloth with tiny beads that shimmered like moonbeams. A small note was tied to its tail with a silver thread. The note read simply, "For the kind of heart that listens." Maya held the kite and felt a gentle warmth in her hands. She remembered what her grandfather used to say: "Sometimes magic finds the people who need it most." That night, with her house quiet and the moon high as a silver coin, Maya took the kite to the hill behind her home. She wanted to see if the kite would fly. "Let's go for a little adventure," she whispered, as if the kite could choose where to travel. She ran across the grass, laughter bubbling from her like a little spring. When she let the kite go, it caught the night breeze and soared like a friendly bird. But instead of tugging and wobbling like ordinary kites, the Moonlight Kite rose higher and higher, and Maya felt a soft tug on her heart, as if the kite was asking her to hold on to something brave. The kite's beads chimed in the dark. Suddenly, a voice, small and musical like a bell, came from the kite. "Hello, Maya," it said. "I am Luna. Would you like to see the places the moon keeps?" Maya blinked. She was not afraid. She remembered her grandfather's stories about kind magic that never shouted or scared, but spoke quietly and asked gently. "Yes," she breathed. "I'd like that very much." Luna looped and dipped, guiding Maya's arms until the kite glimmered like a little moon. The thread felt warm, and Maya felt as if she were holding a trail of light. The kite led her up the hill to the sleepy town, and then higher still until the stars were close enough to touch, and the world below looked like a quilt of shadow and light. First, Luna showed Maya a garden that only appeared in the moonlight. The flowers there opened just for the night: silver lilies, sleepy jasmine, and tiny bluebells that hummed like bees made of starlight. Owls with velvet wings watched from the hedges, and a hedgehog rolled by with a crown of dandelion seeds. "These flowers are shy," Luna said. "They bloom when someone listens to their quiet songs." Maya sat on a stump and listened. She heard the gentle notes of leaves, the soft tapping of the moon's footsteps on petals. Maya hummed along, and the garden brightened, petals turning to glassy mirrors that reflected the stars. Next, they drifted over a sleepy harbor where lanterns bobbed like tiny, friendly boats. Fishermen, wrapped in warm coats, shared bowls of soup with the waves. A seal clapped its fins in time with a lullaby that traveled from boat to shore. "The sea sings to those who learn to wait," Luna told her. Maya watched a little boy hand his last piece of bread to a gull. It was a small, brave thing to share. The gull wheeled in a silver arc, squawking a happy tune. Then Luna drew her to a city garden where city lights hummed and the alleys kept secrets. Maya saw a girl coaxing a stubborn stray cat from behind a trash bin with a gentle voice and a small scrap of salmon. The cat, who looked like it had never had a warm bath, blinked slow and then wound itself around the girl's ankles. Maya felt her chest bloom with a warm glow. "Kindness finds the hidden," Luna said softly, "and often the hidden finds us, too." As the kite drifted, Maya learned little lessons wrapped in the gentle glow of nighttime. The way the moon smiled at those who shared. The way the stars nodded when someone was brave enough to say, "I'm sorry." And the way shadows seemed less scary when someone held your hand. On their way back, Luna slowed near a small, lonely house where a boy sat at the window, his face pressed to the glass as if he wanted to step right into the night. He wore a sweater too big for him. A single lamp shivered in the room, and Maya could see the boy's small, worried brow. "Why is he alone?" Maya asked. Luna chimed. "He stays quiet because his voice is new to him. He would like a friend, but he doesn't know how to say hello." Maya remembered the way the stray cat had blinked and the way the little boy with the bread had smiled when he shared. She thought of her grandfather's bench and the way his voice felt like a warm blanket. "Let's say hello," Maya whispered. When the Moonlight Kite dropped close, Maya tapped the window and waved. The boy, startled, turned, and then, like a flower at dawn, he opened up. He wiped his nose on his sleeve, his mouth curved into a shy smile, and he mouthed the word, "Hello." Maya waved and shouted, "Hello! Would you like to come play tomorrow?" She couldn't be heard in the house, but she drew a picture on a scrap of paper to stick figures, a kite, a willow tree, and pressed it against the glass. For a moment, the room was very still. Then the boy pressed his own thumbprint beside hers, and in the morning he would come out to the park. "I gave him a little light," Maya said, her voice soft with the kind of pride that does not brag. Luna chimed happily. The Moonlight Kite carried Maya home as the sky began to blush with the first pale colors of dawn. The beads cooled and the silver thread dimmed. Luna whispered, "Magic is not only in the seeing, it is in the making. When you make someone less alone, you have stitched a little moon into the world." Maya tucked the kite beneath her pillow and slept with her hands curled like seashells, dreaming of gardens that smelled of honey and stars that laughed softly. In the morning, she found a tiny feather tucked under her pillow, silver at the tip. On her way to the park, she saw the boy from the window waiting shyly by the willow. He carried a small wooden boat he'd carved, and he held it out as if to share it. "Do you want to sail it in the puddle?" he asked, his voice a whisper that seemed to ask permission from the whole town. Maya nodded. "Yes, I love kites and boats and stories," she said, surprising herself with how easily the words came. The boy's name was Sam. He smelled faintly of cedar and oranges. They built a little fleet of boats and set them sailing in the shallow pool by the bench. They cheered when a boat dared to ride the wind of a laugh. Days passed, and Maya found more small chances to make nights brighter. She left a biscuit on the stoop for the neighbor's dog when she heard it shiver in the dark. She apologized to a classmate when she had taken a toy without asking. She showed Sam how to lace his shoes so he would untrip over his long laces in the grass. Each small kindness was like a stitch, and the town seemed to glow a little warmer for it. At dusk, Maya would wind the Moonlight Kite and whisper her days to it. Sometimes Luna told her stories of other children far away who had also learned the secret, that gentle actions, when stitched together, make a strong, bright rope that you can climb when you feel small. One evening, when the sky was extra clear and the moon looked like a slice of silver pie, Maya stood under the willow and let the kite go. This time, Luna did not take her to faraway gardens. Instead, the kite bobbed over the town and stopped above a small house where an old woman had been sitting alone on her porch. She had knitted and knitted until her fingers were tired, and her eyes had the kind of softness that held 1,000 stories. Maya ran to the porch and offered the woman a cup of tea she had carried in a careful jug. They sat together, sipping the warm tea and swapping tiny tales about dancing spoons and cats who dreamed of becoming authors. The woman's laughter sounded like wind chimes. When Maya left, the woman pressed a small knitted heart into her hands. "For when you need to remember," she said. Years later, people in the town would tell stories about the child who held a moonlight kite and taught them how to listen. They spoke about a child who sat on the old bench and left little notes for the lonely, who tucked warm soup into bags for tired mail carriers, who said sorry when she was wrong and thank you when she was right. They said the town had grown kinder, not because magic had made everyone perfect, but because small, brave acts had become a habit. Sometimes magic arrives like lightning, bright and fast. Other times it comes like a kite that knows the secret of the sky. It takes steady hands and patient breath. Maya learned that day after day, stitch by stitch, we can sow light into the world. And on clear nights, when you walk by the willow tree and listen carefully, you might hear the tiny metallic chime of beads and a soft voice saying, "Hello, listener, would you like to make the world a little less lonely?" If you answer yes, the Moonlight Kite will find you, and you will begin your own quiet adventure of small, wonderful things. The end.